Hope you're doing good, Micah. Ooh, we remix. Hope you're doing good, Micah. Back with another video. Back here to talk about iOS 18, baby. And yes, we downloaded the iOS 18 Dev Beta 1 or Developer Beta 1. And let's talk about this and what we have to look forward to with our upcoming iPhones, because iOS 18 is a major game changer. I'm rocking my Kadabi Red case right now, a case that I very, very much so love. I'll leave the link down in the description box for you guys if you guys are interested in this case. But nonetheless, like I said, let's get into it. And the first thing we're going to actually address is the lock screen. And there's some changes already. Mainly, the fact is that you can now rearrange these buttons down here, meaning the flashlight and what you see I have, which is my silent mode button. I swapped out the camera because you can still swipe to the right to access the camera, and there's no swiping this way. So by swiping this way, you still have access to the camera, so there's no need to double that with the camera button down at the bottom. So how do you do this? Well, let's go ahead and get into the phone. And as you guys can see here, now that we're in, all you have to do is press and hold. And once you press and hold, you're going to bring your wallpaper albums up, if you will, your lock screen customizations. And I'm going to hit the customize button down here at the bottom. And once that happens, then I'm going to click on the lock screen. And as you guys can see, you have the option now to actually sub these out. So all you have to do is either click on it or hit the minus button. Maybe that's a bug in the beta, because you should be able to just click on the actual icon and not the minus button. But for me, I'm going to put it back. But these are your options. Your search controls now look like this. And as you guys can see, you have various options from translate, home, calculator, alarm, dark mode, shortcuts, which may be people's favorites, so they can put their own individual apps there, because that's how shortcuts works for the lock screen and for the action button, which we'll get into later as well. But you also have your subcategories if you want to choose based off categories instead. So you have accessibility, capture, clock, connectivity, display and brightness, hearing, home, motor accessibility, remote, shortcuts, sounds, translate, utilities, vision accessibility, voice memos, wallet, watch. In other words, ping my watch. You have so many options now that you can use to fill either side in. And for me, I like the flashlight being there. And the reason why I chose silent mode is because I use my action button for my camera. So now instead of having to swipe down to the control center, I could just hit that right there to toggle it on and off. And when you're finished, all you have to do is hit done. It's going to save everything. And since I made adjustments, or I could just hit cancel, it wouldn't have mattered. And it will revert back to the current wallpaper that I had showing. And so that is the newest addition to the lock screen. Also, just to show you guys, based off being on our lock screen / notification center right now, as you see right there, you see how pushing the power button pushes in the bezel, or in other words, allows for an animation for the power button. Well, now you have that ability there, as well as, which might be hard because of this wallpaper, but you also have it here with the volume rocker when you push in, and you also see the volume rocker actually move in or bounce when you're pressing on the volume rockers. Now, one thing I never checked on was whether or not, yes, it does do it with the action button as well. So that's nice. New little key animations with your physical buttons for your display. This has me thinking that this might be a hint as to what the iPhone 16 may look like, because word on the street is there's going to be slimmer bezels for the iPhones. Therefore, these animations may stand out even more with much larger display from that perspective. So that is the lock screen. Let's go into the home screen. And as you guys can see already, there's something a little different going on with the lock screen. Now, case in point, I believe the parallax effect might be back for the home screen, but I have not noticed it. And I don't know if it's because I'm using the larger icons, because I love the larger icon that we can now do with the home screen. But keep in mind that some people are reporting parallax abilities or capabilities returning to the iPhone's home screen. So when you move, the icons, the apps kind of bounce a little bit. I haven't noticed it quite yet for me, but that might be something that may pop up in the official stable build of iOS 18. Now let's talk about the home screen and what you can do. Now for this purpose, because it is still kind of buggy and glitchy considering it being a dev beta, I'm not going to change what my home screen looks like because I had to fight with it a little bit due to bugs and glitches. So I'm just going to show you guys on a different page. But if you want to change how all this looks, press a hold in an empty space, and then you're going to hit edit up at the top. Now, what I want to show you guys real quick is over here, now you guys can see these little corner icons. Well, these are reminiscent from the iPad. And this allows you to resize the widget or resize windows on iPads. So now in real time or in line, you can actually customize your widget to be much longer or bigger or wider, whatever to your liking. Also, if you want to, you can press and hold on the widget, and now you have options to change it to however many options you have in terms of the size. So maybe if you didn't want to play with it yourself, you could pick where you would want it to go, and it would change to a smaller one, the medium size widget, or the larger widget that I currently am rocking. So again, very nice additional upgrades to the home screen in terms of being able to customize it. And the biggest thing is being able to move apps freely wherever you want them to be. So let's use this page as an example. If I want to move this, I could put it down here now, no problemo. And that is something that we definitely love because all we've been wanting is to be able to have freedom to customize our screens and pages to our liking, and Apple has now answered that here with these home screen improvements. Now, another thing I'd like to show you guys, if you hit edit, this is where you come in to actually customize further. So as you see down here at the bottom, and you see I have toggled on large. I'm using the large icons because if you guys see, there's no app icon label. It's just the app icon. I like a clean look, clean aesthetic for my iPhones, for my phones in general, for my tablets. I don't like the labels. I know what the YouTube app is. I know what the passwords app is. I know what the gaming app is. I don't need to be reminded with the label, so I could create a clean aesthetic for my home screen. So in order to do that, hopefully this is also still permanent. Again, this is dev beta 1. Things could change in beta 2 or in the public beta or upon official release. But as of now, using the large icons will eliminate the icon labels, giving you a more clean look for your icons. On top of that, we now have dark theme icons, which is very nice. We have light, of course, as we normally have, and we have tinted, meaning you can change the color. So if I click tinted, you see them change color, and you can actually use the gradient tool to choose what color you want. So let's say I want to do that. Let's say I click on this, and that's the color I want. I want this blue. Now you see they change. So now they're blue. And if I swipe down, you see the bottom is also blue now. And if I swipe over, everything goes blue. So you see even the outline colors on the apps are now blue. And in here is also blue, which might be very similar to the blue that's already part of the app. And swiping over, now everything is blue. I think this can get a little messy depending on what your wallpaper looks like. I think there's a very clean way to use the tinted icons to better fit a nice theme. But I think just up and using it can kind of cause a little bit of jankiness, in my opinion, because to me, like, this doesn't necessarily look that clean. Maybe it's because of the background I'm using, but I'm sure there's a background, there's some wallpapers out there that could complement tinted icons. For me, this ain't doing it though. So I need to go ahead and go back into edit, hit customize, change it back to automatic. What you can also do is if it's in dark mode, you can actually see that little shining button that pops up. This is for your wallpaper. So if you, by selecting it, it tints the background. So now your apps pop a lot harder. I think you can have this set for like, especially if you're using like dark mode, if you wanted to tint your wallpapers even more. So your dark theme icons really pop more, or your dark theme widgets kind of pop a little bit more. You can use this shade button for lack of a better term, and now it looks like they really stand out. It gives it a little bit more of a 3D effect, if you will. And I'm still not quite noticing the parallax. So yeah, my beta build isn't really quite showing me that yet. But again, it could be dependent on the type of icons I'm using, whether small or large. But these are some of the updates so far for the home screen that you can do. Now, case in point, let's go back into edit, customize, switch back to automatic. So we're all good there. And you see it goes away because there's no need to tint light mode. It's really only for dark mode. That is some of the main home screen abilities: dark theme icons, freedom of placement. The one thing so far though is it looks like you cannot place your widgets in the middle of the home screen. Could just be dev beta 1, so we don't know quite yet. But as of right now, you cannot just place a widget in the middle, especially like a small one. You cannot just place it in the middle, like where my TikTok, Threads, Instagram, and Notes app is. You can't place it there. So I did want to highlight that. Now, what else can you do? Control Center has gotten a revamp, and it looks so much more beautiful. I like the rounder icons. It's different. I like the fact that it's different, and you can modulate it the way however you want to. So for me, I move my music or my player icon, my media player widget in the middle there, pushing these two things up some because it's a little easier to operate, easier to access my player if I need to. And then I have all my apps outlined here: Shazam, flashlight, record, silent mode, scan QR code, tap to cash, which is a new feature for iOS 18, my wallet app, the calculator app, stopwatch, and my focus mode, as well as my home accessories in terms of my smart lights that I have running in my home. And this layout is pretty easy. So if you want to, all you have to do is hit the plus icon up here, and now you begin to edit. And as you guys can see, you still have the same abilities here with your icons, your control center modules, if you will, to resize them in real time by using that little button there. I'm not going to do it because, again, it can be a little jumpy right here. I could try to display here. Maybe so this is already as big as it needs, but see, if maybe I want it there instead of a large one, right? I guess it swapped. So I just swipe up, grab it. See, I could do it like that, or since if I wanted to control it, let's see, sometimes it could be a little, again, being able to recognize, there we go, recognize where you're placing your fingers, touch response, if you will. Still a little glitchy, but nonetheless, you guys can see how easy it is to operate your control center, and you can put anything pretty much in here that's available to you, and you get individual control center cards, if you will, as well. So this one is all about the media player. This one is about the connectivity settings that I have, and you can access your personal hotspot in here now, which is also nice, and satellite. Right now satellite is not available, but you can access that in your connectivity settings. This is my second page of control center modules. This is my main page here. You don't have to fill it out either. You can leave it a little, you can leave it, I want to say, you can leave it limited or minimal, if you will, and then do this one. This is why I did this one the way I want it, so it's all accessible with one hand, and I like this a lot. And if you guys want to see what you have, by clicking that, you hit add a control down at the bottom, and all your controls are right here. And as you see, you have various kinds, similar to the lock screen in terms of being able to replace your lock screen apps. You have various options here as well to operate with your control center. And what I've noticed is there's a lot of accessibility abilities, a lot of accessibility controls that you can implement as well. And we know that iOS 18 is bringing a lot of new key accessibility features to iOS 18. What can I show you guys real quick? Stopwatch now has a live activity. So it's going to take me to Stopwatch. Once I play it, as you see, it's back up at the top. Stopwatch is back, baby. So upon doing that, you can hit pause, and then you can just exit out of it. That's nice. The Mail app does not have the categories yet. I've tried to play in it, and it is a little broken right now, probably because it's going to be implementing new features. So sometimes you may delete the emails, but it will still hang in terms of your badge icon and act as though you do have those available when you simply don't. So the mailing app is a little glitchy right now, but it does still function properly in terms of sending out emails and receiving them. The badges just don't update properly. What's interesting is the App Store does not have a dark mode app icon yet, so interesting that Apple left that one out. It may be here in the next beta. I don't know how the dev betas work when it comes to like the big releases such as iOS 18, iOS 17, so on and so forth. So I don't know when beta 2 will drop. Is it next week? Is it next month when the public beta drops? I have the foggiest idea, but just know that some of this that we're seeing here may pop in and out as they adjust it, fix it, and then re-roll it out in a more stable version. So keep that in mind when watching our videos, and if you decide to test run the software yourself. Another thing I wanted to highlight is messages. Messages has improvements as well. And if you guys can see in here, I'll even go. Yeah, so it is with another iPhone user. So by showing you guys here, and me and my wife's thread, you'll see send later up at the top. This gives you the ability to now, act as though you want to send a message or schedule a message. So by pressing send later, and then if I type in here, as you see, it says today at 7 p.m. I can just say test. And if I hit send, it's going to position that to send at 7 p.m. So maybe I'll send it to her now so that way she'll see. And then you can always have the option to X out of it and actually essentially reverse that and or even edit your scheduled text message. So nice forethought there by Apple to really kind of hone in on messages when it comes to being able to message those that we interact with. The other thing that they've added, if I jump back, it doesn't even matter at this point. If I jump in here and I go ahead and act like I'm going to type, even though it's green, we know RCS will be arriving in the official stable build of iOS 18. And whether or not it still stays green, this does let us know that messages will be more secure no matter who we're text messaging. So that's definitely a good thing there. All right, so here's a conversation talking about JJK. Let's say I press and hold here. As you guys can see, reactions have now changed. So now there's color to the reactions, and by swiping over, we can now react with emojis. Something that Android has had, even though Apple had the ability to react first, Android kind of topped them with being able to react with emojis and customize by adding your own emoji. And now we can do that here on iOS by simply hitting this plus icon. You can send emojis, and you can send stickers. Just like that, you can send stickers now. Now, of course, those who do not have iOS 18 yet may not be able to see the stickers or certain emojis that you do send. Nothing will happen, like literally. So be mindful of that if you're trying to test this out with people who's not running on iOS 18, because only you will see it. But we do have that ability now to add stickers and our own emoji that we want to use with iMessage. The other thing that's coming with iMessage is Genmoji and Image Playground, and those two things are able to create emojis and based off of your own input. And it's a place where you can create emojis, I believe stickers and animated or videos, in other words, moving images. So those stuff, that kind of stuff has not popped up in iOS 18 Dev Beta 1 yet. I actually don't know when that will actually come. Could be something much later down the road, but just keep in mind that that ability will be here with the iPhones in the near future. Now, if we swipe down, and I swipe all the way down here to my connections and talk about satellite again, even though it says it's not available, you can try a demo. And what this will allow you to do is message via satellite. So let's say you're out and about, you don't have no internet connection, you're in a cave, canyon somewhere. If you're able to get in access of the satellite, you can send text messages out and even photos when dealing with SOS services. So if I hit down the demo, this is what the demo looks like. You can try connecting the satellite, try emergency SOS. And you can message, Find My, roadside assistance, emergency SOS, and you're able to even send photos with this ability. So I don't even know if this is up and running right now. I know it says you can test, so I'm not even going to try. But just know this is now coming with iOS 18 with our iPhones. What are some other changes that have came to maybe certain apps, certain settings, this, that, and the third? Well, let's actually act as though we want to lock an app, because we have the ability to do so. Let's say I want to lock Threads. By pressing and holding, you see right there it says require Face ID. Well, upon doing that, it's going to ask if I want to basically lock it or hide it. So you have that ability when clicking on require Face ID. If you require Face ID, it will just lock the app. If you want to hide it, it will actually move to a hidden folder. So let me go ahead and put my code in. And then, so once I clicked on hide, it's going to ask you, hide Threads. The app will no longer be visible on your iPhone except in a few places such as settings. Face ID will be required to reveal, open, and use Siri with the app. Obscured app icon and name, no app notifications or calls. So if you want to hide it, you hit hide app, it's gone. I wish I didn't choose this page to do that with, but you have to come all the way over here, scroll down to the bottom. We now have a hidden folder. And upon accessing that, you're going to click on it. Then it's going to ask for your Face ID. And then if you want, you can grab it, move it out of that folder, or don't require Face ID. And then I have to put in my Face ID or password. And now it's gone out of the hidden folder. And it should be back on my, it's not. So now I have to actually find Threads and put it back on my home screen. Thank you that it did not break my setup. Whew. Now, one of the things you may have actually saw is this passwords app. Passwords allows you to have your passwords saved in one central location now, so you don't have to go into settings and rummage and look for it. You have an app that houses everything, and you see you can look by means of all and just cycle through all your websites and apps to locate the password that you may want to maybe copy and paste to another device that does not have access to passwords. Maybe you're cross-platform in terms of Android or iOS, and you need to get your password from one app or website from its autofill basically and fill it in your other location. You can do that. You have pass keys here. You have your codes, which are basically those verification codes. This will show you where those are at as well. Your Wi-Fi passwords. You have deleted passwords if you deleted any, and you have security. I have over 54 passwords that I need to check on. Now, because I'm in Apple's ecosystem, it won't be hard for me to really change a lot of those because Apple will suggest pretty strong passwords. So I could change all those in an instant and now use the password app to copy and paste that password on over to my Google stuff on the Google side in order to, or Android, in order to access those same websites and apps. I actually might do that. And that's because password app makes this so much easier. And also family passwords. You can share your passwords with your family by creating a shared group. And you can do that with this button down here. And if you click on it, it's going to ask you to add, name the group. It's you, and then you add people. So maybe other people in your family need to have the passwords as well, or maybe need access to your information. Maybe you get hurt, you're in a medical incident, accident, and they need to be able to get some information. Your family can assist with that if you have them shared within the Passwords app. So nice jobs, Apple, on bringing that app to fruition with iOS 18. Now, swiping over, you have Apple News. Apple News now has a nice new little animation when swiping out of an article. So let's see here. Let's just say I want to read this article from BGR. Well, now if I swipe, now it bounces and like fluidly kind of slides back into place. That's new with iOS 18. That was not here before with iOS 17. I very much so appreciate that animation because I do read a lot of news articles, whether it's Apple News Plus or not, and I very much so enjoy the information that I get out of the Apple News app. Also, Notes has now what's called Smart Script with an Apple Pencil on like the iPads and stuff like that. I think maybe some of that will come to Notes. Math Notes is also here. So if I click on this, if I back out, and let's just say I want to draw a new one, I would do, let's see, 2 plus 2. And if I do equals, let's see if it will do it. There's equals. And as you see, equals 4. So there is math that's now included within Apple Notes because of Calculator getting a major update. And so if I swipe out, swipe down, or instead of swiping down, like I said, okay, swipe up. I can come in here, hit Calculator. Calculator now has been updated across the board. And by clicking the Calculator button down here, you can change to get a new scientific calculator or go into Math Notes. And you also can convert information as well. And I really like some of this. I guess the only potential problem is people won't use their minds to do math anymore. And people won't be quick on their toes with math. So even doing simple percentages, simple subtraction, addition, multiplication, a little PEMDAS in the head, we might end up dumbing down society with the reliance or over reliance on calculator or math notes. So I think that's the only thing might be a little like, but nonetheless, in a jiffy, doing math equations, maybe you can reverse engineer the equation to then understand the math that you're trying to solve with math notes. So nice new built up version of calculator that's also on the iPad, which is very nice as well. So that's key. watchOS 11 will not be usable or will not be coming to the Apple Watch SE first generation. So my Apple Watch will not be receiving watchOS 11, and then Apple Watch Series 4 and 5 also will not be receiving watchOS 11. So I thought I'd highlight that here. So I need me a new Apple Watch in order to bring you that coverage. So bear with me as I try to work that out on my end. And of course, a way you guys could potentially help is by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell. It's all free that way. It's on video, so you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. And by hitting that super things button down there by the like and dislike button, Cash App and PayPal, as well as checking out the channel for all the videos available to you. That's a way for us to keep tech fresh and alive on this channel. Now let's get into the next thing, the next fun jazz, photos. Woo! So much has happened with photos. As you guys can see, it's completely overhauled. It looks completely different. And as you might see, you see that our photos, all of our photos now basically line up at the top. That's what we have. And if you swipe down, you see you can change the time or date to access specific photos. And you have this filter button right here where you can change your filter. And that could be from favorites, edited, photos, videos, screenshots. That can also be view options where you can zoom in, zoom out, use a square grid, or show screenshots, or eliminate the ability to use screenshots. And if we swipe left, this is where you get featured photos. This is where you get your portraits, your favorites, videos. Oh, you can customize it. And then swiping back, it's a carousel. So it'll end up right back to square one when you're done looking. And if you scroll down, you have your recent days, peoples and pets, pin collections, memories, trips, albums, shared albums, featured photos, your media type. So this is where you can get a little bit more granular with your videos, selfies, live photos, portraits, your utilities such as your recently deleted, your hidden, handwritten, illustrations, wallpaper suggestions. And then you can also customize at the bottom by adding another section if you wanted to. So very intuitive, but it will take a little getting used to for sure. I definitely cannot deny that. And at the top, you have a search function. So maybe if you want to search for somebody, if it does work, let's see, last year, you got New Year's Eve, you got during the summer. Let's see if I type in a name. Will they pop up? So I try to type in Candace. Nope. Only thing that was found was a video that I think I may have mentioned her name in. So it also shows you the amount of machine learning and or Apple intelligence is already at work in Dev Beta 1 in terms of trying to find photos that you might be looking for. So that's neat. And then you have your icon at the top. And this is kind of like Apple's first attempt, in my opinion, of trying to integrate settings into the app instead of having to go to the settings app and then go to the app to uncover some settings. So by clicking on your icon, now you have the ability to adjust whether or not you want to share album activity, hidden albums, your autoplay videos and live photos. I'll probably put that on. View full HDR, shared library, shared with you. So you have all that. You can reset your suggested memories and your people and pet suggestions. So you have the ability to come in here and make some adjustments to your Photos app and how you want it to operate without having to run all the way back to the settings app. So that's also nice that we get to see there from Photos. I like it. To me, it has kind of some moments that remind me of of Google Photos and then Apple's, own creative flair with their Photos app. I like the new look. It looks pretty good. The calendar also has some adjustments. If we go into month, so I gotta remember how to access that again because I'm not, by pressing back. So now you can pinch to zoom in to unveil however much information you want to for an individual month So that way you can get as much information as you need. Of course, you can pinch it all the way down to 0, where it's just, colored little lines. But I like this look from my calendar app. And calendar now has baked in reminders. So by hitting new, now it says new instead of new event. And you can pick an event or reminder, but now integrate right into the reminders app for you as well. So very nice to see that those two play very much well hand in hand now. For me, the only reminders I create really is stuff that I do in regards to video concepts and ideas. So I don't really need to have it in here baked into my calendar like that. And thankfully it's not, because I don't have a lot of stuff that's dated. I do have some video games that are dated though, so I know when those games come out to go ahead and try to nab me one. But that's some of the updates to the calendar app. Nothing was updated over here in terms of our side page here, the side panel. I wish they would have did something with this. They still have not, but they have updated the journal app. So with the journal app, if I go ahead and click on it, you're gonna need your Face ID, of course. Now you can, as soon as I open the app, okay, come on. Now you can, your mindful minutes, you can enable, of course, as well. When you're logging in a journal entry, you log in your state of mind as well. All this stuff counts towards your mindful minutes now. So it's another way for you to make sure that you can stay on top of your health and your fitness by incorporating your mental capacity as well. And you can, of course, as usual, get your journaling on. There's your state of mind right here. So you can, boom, choose how you're feeling right now. And so I like the fact that they added that into the journal, because that makes a lot of sense. And you have a bookmark ability up here. So maybe you wanted to access something specifically, you can. Here's what mine looks like. And here's some of the updates that they have here. So I'm on 2-day streak right now. I've written over 6,100 words. My last note, this one specifically, was 60 words. And then I've journaled in total 65 days. So the journal has some level of improvements now in terms of what it looks like. You have a search function if you want to search probably specific keywords to find certain days or certain entries that you've done, if you want to reminisce on previous entries or maybe add to specific ones. You can sort by the entry date or your moment date. You can also go by insights, notifications, health, access, and then of course you can lock your journal. You can print your entries off as well. So a lot of new little small adjustments to journal. Hopefully we get like a better cover page for the journal, so it doesn't just open straight to the entries. I think that would be nice. Or maybe all those insights and stuff like that is the cover page, and then you can maybe swipe in to see journal entries. I think that would be something more intuitive, a little bit more protective. So when videos like this, or maybe you're trying to show somebody your journaling app, you don't just outright show them previews of certain entries, because it is supposed to be personal. So hopefully they think about that with the next update to journal. Surprisingly, journal did not show up on the iPad. A little disappointing. Nor I guess the MacBook or Mac OS. So interesting that the journal app is still limited to the phone, and maybe it'll grow out later, because as we see, it could take Apple 18 iterations before we even finally get customization abilities, let alone specific app features. The next thing I want to show you guys is the phone app. The phone app has a new kind of look and aesthetic. I don't care for none of these numbers. They're all spam. This is what the aesthetic looks like now. Now it gives you the option to actually hit the call button over there instead of actually calling somebody. So let's say I want to click on a number. Now it takes you to the number instead of dialing the number. And that's why they gave you the option for the phone button over there. Now if you press and hold, you can now message, call, video, or pay, I should say. And I think the pay option probably only comes up if they're iPhone. So nice to see some new built-in abilities for the phone app. And if you start dialing numbers, a number will pop up. So if I go, let's see, if I go 998, see, now T9 dialing is here and is available. And you can now record your phone calls via the native Apple phone app. It's not here in the beta 1 yet, but it will be arriving with the official stable build of iOS 18. Safari has some new updates as well. Mainly, you see that button there? We have Insights. It's going to ask you to turn on when you click on this, and I've already turned it on, but it's going to ask you to turn Insights on if you want to use it. And we have an improved reader mode as well, where it really slims down the stuff that you're reading. Now you can do it automatically, which is where I'm like very tempted to do, because when reading stuff online is just so distracting, the amount of apps a lot of articles can have, and that's not something that you're necessarily really trying to do. Now, highlights isn't quite working yet in here, and you also now have the font changer right there as well. The highlight isn't quite working right now, so I couldn't even show you guys if I wanted to. Just know it will basically be able to summarize web pages and information for you, so you can get it at a better glance by clicking on that, as well as more relevant information of what you're looking for. A great example would be a restaurant or a hotel, and highlights will pop up the address and the phone number for you, because sometimes you just can't find it on their home page and you got to do a lot of clicking around. And this highlights will alleviate that by being able to have that information for you right at hand. So when you click on this button, it should pop up in a nice little card there. So nice to see that functionality coming to Safari, with Reader also being improved, because we need that as well. The biggest game changer is the improvement to Siri. Now, right now in Dev Beta 1, the new Siri is not here yet, but it is effectively called New Siri. Like it's Siri basically has been rebuilt, new look and everything. And they even said at WWDC that what Siri is now in iOS 18 is what they've envisioned Siri to be in its first inception. But now, upon being able to press and hold to talk to Siri, or using the hot words to activate Siri, you will now be able to get way better information pulled from Siri because of Apple Intelligence being baked into Siri now. Siri will become much more contextually aware of what you're talking about. So whether it's on screen awareness, being able to understand what you may be asking on the screen, having some form of a continued conversation with Siri, Siri being more accurate with information it's going to try to pull from you, Siri will now be able to accomplish that, and they showed that on stage. And also, ChatGPT has now been built into Siri. So if it can't get the information that you want on device, it will ask you to send it to ChatGPT, basically for a private cloud computing service, to be able to help with the power or resources to get that information for you, or to work that task out for you. So shout out to Siri for getting a big buff as well. I think we all needed it. And Siri, and it has a new animation around the screen. It's kind of like Samsung's Edge panel lighting, or Edge lighting, which I think looks absolutely gorgeous. New symbol, new look, and even pressing this, it no longer does that. The edge of the screen will light up. The bezels basically will light up. So very, very new, nice look for Siri. Fitness has updates where you can now edit your tiles in here. So if you wanted to edit a tile, press and hold, you can edit or hide. And then if you wanted to, then you can come down here, edit your summary, and then that's all you do. They wiggle, you can take them out, and then you can also add. And here's your options here. So these are by category, I believe. So that's one. You got your trainer tips, your training modes, your trends, and then you have friends, you have awards, you have running. And by clicking in here, then you see the different modules that you can use, or widgets, your tiles, for your summary in here in fitness. So that's really nice. And then you get some level of customization as well with the health app. So upon coming into health also has a little bit of controls as well here, and has improvements in terms of being able to track health, like training mode with your Apple Watch, being able to work out your intensity of your workouts, and then pregnancy has some additional updates, being able to track better information for those pregnant. So there has been some information in here that has been, or features rather, that have been improved for Apple Health and Fitness as well. And you're going to see a lot of that with the Apple Watch. And then in settings, but jump into settings, setting has improved, such as being able to search up here. You get recent searches, recent activity, and search suggestions with the search capabilities here. But overall, as you guys can see, now it says Apple account and not Apple ID. So that has been changed after all. They may not have mentioned it, but it has been changed now in the settings. So that's also interesting to see. But you'll be able to notice that the settings has been reworked and is abbreviated. because it houses all the apps in the app section now for you to actually go and find the app individually. They moved a lot of their apps further up. So Wallet and Apple Pay is down there. And like I said, there's Tap to Cash, right? Now you can use your phone, and just as you would use the name drop feature, so take two iPhones, put them together, and you see that animation shooting information to the iPhone, to the other iPhone, you can do the same thing with Tap to Cash. So if with Apple Pay or your Apple Cash card or whatever, if you want to send $20 to somebody, boom, bow. Maybe there's a money sound too. I don't know. Just know that that is here with iOS 18 now. And as you see, you got your emergency SOS, privacy and security right there, Face ID and passcodes right there. Everything has been bumped up, and it's a lot more in line, a lot easier to find stuff. They baked more stuff into general as well. And general gives you an explanation of what it is. And as you guys can see, things have just been overall reworked. If we go into iPhone storage, the storage looks different. As you guys can see here, there's a little bit of differentness going on with the storage. Let's go into battery. Battery has some updates that we were not expecting, I think. And as you guys can see here, I've had a couple charge moments just due to, well, really this one due to CarPlay having to plug in, but nothing major. If we click in here, you see my battery's still normal, still at 100%, 215 cycle count. Battery has been doing so much better on this device, surprisingly, running this Dev Beta 1, which shows how stable it is. And I hope that's just something that goes forward anyway. Dealing with new software, it should get better and more sophisticated where the betas don't also last as long, and that for the most part, it is stable software. Now, if we come into training or charging, my bad, you now have the option to change the charge limit in 5% intervals. So between 80 and 100%, you can actually customize how much you want your phone to charge to. And this is all in efforts to optimize your battery health and to preserve battery health, especially if you plan on keeping your phone for quite some time. You're going to want your battery health to stay very, very in good shape. And so this is pretty much kind of a look at the settings and what this looks like, and overall how this phone is going to feel as things continue to get baked in, because even though we talked for about 40 minutes today, this still doesn't cover everything because not everything is here. This is just Dev Beta 1 of iOS 18 with me previewing by telling you guys certain things that will be showing up and how certain other aspects will also be improved as they improve iOS 18 through the beta program. Case in point, Maps has improvements, but you really can't kind of see them right now. And the improvements here is all in regards to hiking, being able to create your own custom hike trails. This now says library instead of favorites. So those are just some of the things I can detail to you guys about Maps. Apple TV, arguably one of the greatest streaming services that we have right now, because they've been hitting it out of the park with their TV shows, and I need to get back into watching some shows from them myself because I am behind, including this show here with Jake Gyllenhaal. Add that to the plus list right now. This app now has the ability to do insights. So if you're watching a show, I don't even know if I could really show you guys right now. Let's say I click on this show and I want to play the first episode. So let's see what happens when someone pops up on the screen and see if insights will pull up. He's talking, but it's not down there yet. So if I hit info will just tell me about what's happening in the episode, it looks like, but it will not give me. So insights is not here yet for Apple TV Plus, but it will be here soon. And yes, it works just like Amazon Prime Video's ability to, with IMDb baked in, the ability to find the actor, actress, and song that's currently on the screen. So it's essentially in real time. That is now what we have with Apple TV Plus. You can now look up the actors, actresses, and songs that's currently on screen within the app. Thank you so much. This is something that needs to come to all streaming platforms, especially with their original content, because we want to know who's in these shows and movies that we're watching, especially if they're interesting. Another ability that they brought was enhanced dialogue. Thank you again, because that will also improve the dialogue or the vocal audio being played within the show. That's something that we have seen TV and film struggle with, period. They overemphasize audio design in reference to sound effects and explosions and forget about the fact that we need to hear the dialogue that makes the show or movie. Well, now it should be in audio. You will see enhanced dialogue right there, and you already know I'm about to turn that on. Enhance. Now, I didn't realize there was two options such as boost or enhance, so that will be interesting to see the difference between boost and enhance, to see if it just automatically, if it's just like overwhelmingly louder, or is enhanced more machine learning based and it tweaks it based on what's happening in the scene instead of just boosting everything in general. So that's going to be interesting there for audio. And we also have improved subtitles. Subtitles will now pop up on the screen more appropriately, more timely, so that way you may not accidentally spoil yourself reading too fast. It will pop on the screen and when they need to, so that way you can enjoy the show and still react to things in real time. And the last thing they're bringing to Apple TV is an adjustment to projector ratios, adding 21:9 aspect ratio to Apple TV to support projectors, and hopefully that is also for phones that may act in terms of 21:9 to get a better ratio for shows as well. That is supreme deal when it comes to this show. Now, I do want to see it once somebody pops on here. Nope. Let's see. I still don't see it right now down here at the bottom. So it's not a feature that's here quite yet, but it will be here hopefully this year when iOS 18 becomes official. So shout out to Apple for adding those those features and capabilities to the app, because we need it. Game mode is also here. So when you're playing games, you can now limit notifications to improve undisturbed, uninterrupted gameplay, which also then smoothens and gives you more fluid, consistent frame rates. Spatial audio will be coming to games later this year as well, so you can have dope surround sound like effects when it comes to your gaming on your iPhones. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything that I can think of that I have found and or saw or noticed while operating iOS 18 Developer Beta 1, including things that we can see coming in the future, guaranteed by Apple. Let me know down in the comment section below, what are you guys hoping for? What is your favorite feature that you guys have heard so far? What are you looking forward to? Are you running the beta? The comment section is open for discussion. But again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure to ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. It's all free. That way, it's for videos, so you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. And don't forget to hit that super things button down there by the like and dislike button, Cash App and PayPal, and check the channel out for all the videos available to you. That's the way to keep tech fresh and alive on this channel. So, Micah signing out until the next video. Wait for it.